Hi everybody, this is Diane. I am working on these journals. I gave you a sneak peek of this upcoming project just by saying that I was going to use these bags that came from the U.S. Mint in Philadelphia. They are a sturdy fabric because they had to be sturdy because they held coins. This one was pennies and this one was quarters. They have a light pink cast to them, and they're not brand new clean. You can see there's stains on them. I mean, I washed them when I first bought them, and that was several years ago that I bought them. So I have constructed the covers by putting chipboard inside the bags. The bags were constructed differently from each other, so I had to do slightly different things with them, and they were a little bit different sizes. So this one, the seam is on the outside. On this side, it's folded over here, so there's a raw edge right there, which I like, and I didn't want to cut those edges off. And this one is folded the other way. So I left these, and you went with this for the height of the bag, of the book. And I had to cut off the ends. One of them was an open end and the other one was a sealed end, but I had to cut them off. So then I just made a 2-inch chipboard spine and slid that into the bag, and I cut it to the height that would just fit in there. And then book covers, the chipboard covers, that I think are 5.5, 6 inches. Yeah, 5 3/4 inches. So I sewed on either side of the spine, and then I put the other pieces in and sewed the opening closed. On this one, the seam is on the inside, and the bag was quite a bit wider, so I cut some of it off, left the folded side the way it was. So the printing is different on them because they had different coins in them, but where it was placed on the bag was different also. It's spaced differently. So on this one, I was able to center the $50 1976 on the spine, and on this one I couldn't do that, but it does say quarters on the spine. So anyway, I'm going to be embellishing these some more. Not sure exactly what I'm going to do, but I think that one was that way. No, maybe it was this way. So I just cut some little pieces out of the paper that I'm going to be using, which I'm going to show you in a minute. And how did I have these? I know I had this on one of them, this piece of the book. I don't think it was there. So I must have had this here because that fits better there, and this on this book. But I'm going to be doing some more rearranging and cutting out more pieces, and I just wanted to see how they look, and I like the beginning of it, so I will be embellishing these covers. So the paper that I'm using is paper that I've had for a very long time. This paper pad is about 10 years old. I mean, the line, it came out 10 years ago. And I don't know how long I've had mine. I had one, they're 8x8. And then I saw another one at Hobby Lobby, and I ended up getting it because I love the first one so much. And I've just been hoarding it. I used a lot of the first pad, if not all of it. I think I used pretty much all of the first pad, but I've been hoarding this one. So I'm going to use it. It's from Seven Gypsies, and it is called Lille. Oh, here it is. Lille. And it's double-sided paper. You get 6 different designs and 8 of each. There's 48 pieces. So I took one of each, well, 2 of each design, and set them aside. They're right here, so that each journal can get one of each design as a page. So these are not going to be cut up. Move them aside so I don't accidentally cut them. And then I have all these other pages to work with and make ephemera and have fun with. I did copy dyeing today. I copy dyed my scrapbook paper. I haven't cut it yet, so you'll have to forgive my copy fingernails. But I have my papers all dyed and ready to cut. I'm going with the colors that are predominant in that paper pad, which are red and khaki and black. And in this video, we're going to work on some ephemera. I've already done some work. I've already done some ephemera. In fact, I already made a video yesterday showing how I made the covers, and I'm not sure if I'm going to post the video, so I'm telling you a lot of stuff that I said in the other video. I want to review the video tonight and see if I want to post it. But I have numbers that I die cut and tabs. I took those 3 colors of cardstock that I'm using for the journal, and I cut out a variety of tab shapes and some of my numbers with my Big Shot, a couple of arrows. And I did some stamping with my Tim Holtz field notes set that has a lot of numbers. I stamped on the tan colored paper and then punched or tore the pieces out so I can use all of these little bits for embellishing. And these just came from scrapbook paper. I chose these because of the colors. So they're going to be in this little drawer for when I need them. I already used some, you will see. And the other thing I've done, well, one of the other things I've done in preparation is I took a couple sheets of the paper and used dies and my Big Shot to cut out tags. I have a set of tags in a variety of sizes and dies, so I used them. And I punched out some circle shapes I want to make some round tags with. And I have a die that cuts out this envelope. So I did 2 envelopes. And I've got some more here to show you and to work on. One of the papers is backed, just has this bingo repeated on the back of it. So I cut out, you get 6 on a page, plus partial one. This is what I cut off. So I can make tags with these bingo cards. So I have this light colored craft paper that was part of an album, it looks like, because it has holes here. I think I need to adjust this. Okay, hopefully that's good. I'm gonna cut around this. I would like to use up all of the paper and make embellishments, and I know that I would make way more than I need for 2 journals, but I just want to use the paper up and have pieces in my stash. I have this rough twine. It's thin, but it's rustic. So I'm cutting it long enough so that I can make a double loop like that. And cut that loop end. And I will just put glue all around this piece. Some extra glue there to hold the twine. I want to make sure that I get it in the center So I'm using the N, which is the center of the word, to line it up. So that's a pretty quick and easy tag. And I have some more to make of them. Some more of them to make. I also took a couple of the, well, I guess it's the same page. I love this floral on the back, and I hate to not get to use it. So, but I wanted the words crazy love, so I just cut that into a little pocket and then folded over one edge so you get a bit of it. And then for the other one, I'm using it this way so you can see the flowers more, and then folded that flap over. So I'm going to put a brad through it to hold that little flap down. So I have these little number brads that came from K & Company Smashbook products. I've had that for a long time. Another thing I've been hoarding, I'm just going to poke a hole in there. I think I should ink around it. I will probably sew this pocket down because I like the look of stitching on some of the pieces. So I've been making pockets and also things to put in the pockets, but I also want to put in some vintage stuff. Like, I think I have some vintage report cards or sales receipts, checks. I found these when I was going through stuff where they were someplace they didn't belong. They weren't with all my other ones, and the colors are great for these journals. And this is 1952, and this one's 1953. So they're really cool. So I'm gonna put those in the journals. Okay, I didn't fold this down as far because I don't want to cover up the word. Wiggle it around and make it bigger because I had trouble getting the legs of the brad through because these are bigger ones. For some reason they made the prongs wide. There, upside down. I'll fix that later, but so I have two little pockets or tuck spots. Oh, sorry, something just fell. Now I had these embossing folders that they're just little ones that made these little shapes. And I just tried them out. I think I must have gotten them at my friend's yard sale, and I've never used them. I don't remember buying them like new or anything, But anyway, I cut them with craft cardstock, and it did cut some slits in them. See that? And that one's cracked right there. So I'm going to have to glue it right down onto the page. But I took my embossing powder, my embossing pad, ink pad, and just kind of rubbed it. And I didn't want to get all of it. I wanted it to be hit and miss. And then I poured the red embossing powder on it. And putting it on craft, it kind of dulled down the red, which is good because this is a antique looking red. And then I kind of knocked off some of the embossing powder just so it wouldn't be as much coverage. And I like the way that looks. And then this one also had some cuts in it. And it didn't have the raised design except for this border. So I just kind of rubbed the ink pad on it, and then again brush some of the powder off. But these will just be glued onto a page as a little label you can write on. These are some pockets that I just cut out of a polka dot 6x6 paper that I have, and just cut a little thumb hole with my circle punch, and then added some of my punched out or die cut numbers and the stamp number. This was just something that was laying on my desk. I think it came on something that I got at the flea market on my recent trips. So I just glued that on. So these will be little tuck spots on a page. I'm making 2 of everything because I'm making 2 journals. This is 3.5 by 8 inch craft cardstock, and these pieces are 3 1/4, I think. Oops. Yeah, just about 3 1/4 by 2.5. And then I cut little thumb holes in them and sewed them on. And I will be inserting some tags in those. And this pocket here will be near the top of the page, and I don't want anything sticking above it too high, so one of those circle tags that I'm going to make will fit nicely in there. I will put something on it as a pull and decorate it, but I just wanted to see how it fit. So I have 2 of those. I just love this paper. There's so many things you can do with the images on that paper. And then another long pocket. This one is 7 inches, 3.5 inches wide and 7 inches tall. And then I just cut, this is just 1/4 of an inch smaller both ways, and made 1 large pocket, punched a thumb hole in it. I inked around everything and just sewed it on so it can be a pocket like this. And then you can, when you glue it to the book, when I glue it to the book, I can make another pocket there. I have 2 of those. Here's one we have to do some work on. I just did this one today. Most of these I did yesterday. This one is a embossed bingo card. I made it with a red cardstock and then rubbed some black ink over it, the black soot. And again, this part down here got cut. The embossing folder cut through the cardstock. So I had to glue it to craft another cardstock instead of making it a pocket, because it would just fall apart. And I cut this out of that pretty floral paper that I like from this collection and glued that on. So this will be a tuck spot. I don't know if I'll do anything else to it. But I used other embossing folders too, so each signature will get a different embossing folder. So there's this one. This is a really old Tim Holtz one, and so is this one. Instead of black, I used gray cardstock here, but I'll rub some black on it. And then the other red one. See, there's a crack right there. So I'm not sure. I guess I had just one little piece of cardstock in there for a shim to make sure I got a nice deep embossing, but apparently I didn't need that shim. Let's use a different one because we already did a bingo. So next time I won't put that in there. Do I want to use black? Yeah, let's use black. Now you can see the images that are embossed much better. And I will back that with red cardstock. See, this is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So I'll cut this a little bit bigger. I think I could have cut it a little shorter. Just going to rub some black ink around the edges of this. So I'll need a nice big tag to fit inside these pockets. And I might have just the thing coming up next. I am enjoying playing with some of these things that I don't play with very often. Like I've had these Tim Holtz embossing folders for years, and I haven't used them very much. The bingo I don't think is Tim Holtz, but it could be. I just don't remember. Now, I don't think I want to glue an image on like this because of all of what's going on this, but maybe a label. I could just do a label. Looks like I'm running out of the labels that I've stamped. I don't want anything too big to color up too much of that. Just got a scrap of cardstock here. I'm looking for my red ink pad, my one and only red ink pad. Looks like I didn't put it back, so I don't know where it is. Nope, I forgot I had this one. We'll use this one. Hopefully it's got enough ink in it. That works. Didn't stamp that one very well. One edge doesn't want to stamp. Okay, let's try it again. There. Oh, I kind of feel like I want a bigger, like a wider stamp for a label. After all that, I'm just going to go with that one I already had. And there we have another pocket. This one has a design that I wouldn't mind covering with another piece from the paper. Let's look through the paper and see what we might want to put on that. That star maybe, or that. That word beautiful doesn't quite fit on there, but I maybe could put it on diagonally. I'm going to cut that ticket out. And these red stamps there. You see that funny little sketch of a man there? I'll have to make sure I get him in there somewhere. Yep, that'll work. I will glue it to cardstock too, but I think just for this video, I'm just gonna do this part, and then when you're not watching, I will just cut a piece of cardstock to glue this to. Although I don't think there are any cracks in this, but for consistency's sake, they will all be glued to a piece of cardstock. I have a couple more projects in front of me that hopefully we can get to. I think I like it better down there, so it's hanging off instead of within this tight little square, I guess. Excuse my froggy throat. And I think this will get glued to black. Yeah. So that'll be a pocket. That's 3 pockets for one journal. And then I'll duplicate them for the other journal. For these pockets, they're different. This is for one journal, this is for another journal. And the same with these, so they're not identical. Now, moving on, this could be a tag that goes in those pockets. This one isn't big enough, but this one might be. I just took some bingo cards that match the color scheme that I'm using. I cut them in half. This is bingo. This is, oh, it was a children's game. It was for school. I've got the box here. It's called Spell Lingo. And I forgot I had these. They were in with my bingo cards. So I bought that Victo game that only had 10 cards in it. But it was from the 1940s at World War II time. And I just showed it. I just got it at the flea market this week. So I was putting together just a little bundle of 2 of those cards with some of the pieces. But I'm going to include some of these with it too. So I have quite a few of them. So anyway, I cut them both in half. They're 2 different sizes. And cut it into a tag shape. I only did this one. I glued it to lined paper from an old appointment book. And then I have these metal edge pieces that I got years ago at a Close to My Heart party, a scrapbooker's party. And I bought every color they had. They had like 3 color families, and they have different shapes and sizes of these edges. I think I have more that are pastel colors, but I didn't bring them in because they wouldn't go. So I used this red one. Isn't that fun? It had 2 holes, so you could put 2 brads in it, which they came with the brads. So right there is a good tag all by itself. Should have inked it before I put that thing on. Of course, I could take it off. It's just brads. They're a little bit glossy on the front. So let's just make one with this size tag, and I'll do these later. I have this drawer next to me, sort of next to me, that has pieces like this, lined paper and scrapbook ledger papers and stuff like that for when I need stuff like that. And I had pulled it out to get this sheet out, and I didn't push it back in. It's just a plastic drawer that I can pull it out very easily, and that's what you heard fall, because I didn't put it back, push the drawer back in, and all of a sudden it just fell out. So that's on the floor. I'm gonna let the glue dry a little bit before I cut those corners, so I will ink around these edges. You can see how crooked that is because of the ledger line. I'm going to mark the center on the back side. Now let's pick out the edge we want to use. So I marked the center, but there are 2 holes, so I would just have to center that between the 2 holes close enough. I can see that's not centered. But it looks close enough. Now I have to pick out the little pieces that match that. And I don't see them. Is that one? Yep, that's one. There's one. Couldn't get the prongs separated. I feel like I'm bumble fingers today. Okay. There's another tag. And if I don't use too much glue, like the glue would spread out too far into the tag. I'm not done yet. I have to cut those ends, but that tag would fit. I could either just round the corners and leave it like that, or I could angle them. I think I like it angled. Okay. And then the last thing I had was this. I'm not going to have time to do it, but I had this strip of paper which was 4 inches by 8 inches because it was half of the page. And I just used my punch that cuts the ticket corner. And then I cut a piece of cardstock a little bit bigger and cut those corners. I put a piece of scrapbook ledger on the front and on the back and added some of my punch out or die cuts and put that on the inside. Normally I would put journaling on the inside, but I needed these two pieces to flow into each other because of the word. So you can write on the front and on the back. So I'll make some more of those, but not in this video. I guess that's all I have for you today. Let's just review what we did. So we didn't do this in the video, but there's one piece that's done. And we have these 2 tags. And I have more to make. I love these. I think these are my favorites. Well, I guess we have 3. We have 3 of these done, except this one needs to be glued onto black cardstock. But yeah, I really like those. And I have to make 3 more of those. We have these pockets, which I did yesterday, and these that I did yesterday, and these I did today, but not on camera. I might make more of these because I only have 1 for each journal, so I just wanted to see how they would turn out. And we have these, and we did this one in a video. So I've got quite a bit of ephemera, but I have a lot more papers to use. So, guess I better keep busy, and I will see you in the next video, and I hope you have a creative day today. Bye-bye.